Godfather of Harlem Season 4, Episode 5, titled Concrete Jungle, escalates tensions in Harlem as Bumpy Johnson's influence over the community is challenged. The episode depicts the shifting power relations in both the criminal underworld and the black community throughout the 1960s, as internal battles and external threats escalate. The episode revolves around Bumpy's business activities, Elise's developing involvement with the Black Panther Party, and the mounting tension between Bumpy and the Italian. Bumpy Johnson and the Concrete Deal. Bumpy Johnson, Forrest Whitaker, has long been the most dominant man in Harlem, but his reign is under assault. In this episode, Bumpy encounters new problems primarily from the Italian mafia. One of his important economic efforts is obtaining a concrete supplier to complete his club's construction, which finally circumvents the mafia's share. This act of defiance is about more than money. It shows Bumpy's desire to keep control of Harlem's expansion and avoid future domination by the Italians. Bumpy asserts his and his community's autonomy by venturing outside of their control. However, this move puts him on a collision path with the mafia, which is commanded by his longtime enemy, Joe Bonanno. Bumpy's battle with the Italians is exacerbated by broader political and racial tensions in Harlem. As the black community begins to speak out against structural injustice, Bumpy must strike a delicate balance between keeping his power through criminal enterprises and responding to the rising demand for social and political reform. Bumpy's leadership is tested, and the fragility of his position is evident. He must fight on all fronts, not only against competing criminals, but also against the shifting tides of Harlem's cultural and political landscapes. Elise's growing engagement with the Black Panther Party. Elise Johnson, Naturi Naughton, is more captivated by the Black Panther Party's militant ideology. Throughout the episode, she grows more involved with the Panthers, particularly in arranging a protest against police violence to symbolize the community's resistance. This protest is part of a larger movement for racial justice and exemplifies the Panthers' combative approach to combating tyranny. Elise's participation with the Panthers begins to distance her from Bumpy's more realistic, business-oriented environment. Her increased political involvement puts her at odds with Bumpy, who is still bent on accumulating fortune and power through crime. While Bumpy understands the significance of maintaining control of Harlem's economic infrastructure, Elise believes that the actual way to liberation is a more drastic, direct challenge to the establishment. Her membership with the Panthers also represents a fundamental shift in her character's development, from a gangster's supportive wife to a woman with a vision for social and political change. The friction between Elise's activism and Bumpy's business activities sets the stage for a potential conflict between them, as both vie for different kinds of power in Harlem. Frank Lucas and Joe Colombo's agreement. Frank Lucas Chaz Palminteri becomes further involved in the mafia, aligning himself with Joe Colombo, the leader of the Colombo criminal family. In this episode, Frank is tasked with carrying out a job for Colombo, which strengthens his status inside the mafia's power structure. Frank's growing commitment to the Italians contrasts sharply with Bumpy's developing independence. While Bumpy attempts to evade the mafia's grip, Frank leans into it, indicating a substantial shift in his loyalties. This shift in Frank's affiliations foreshadows future tensions, as his growing engagement with the mafia may result in a battle with Bumpy. The two men's complex relationship, built on respect and shared history, appears to be disintegrating, with Frank's drive to climb the criminal ladder and Bumpy's opposition to Italian dominance producing an explosive mix. Frank's interactions with Joe Colombo indicate that Harlem's power struggle will soon escalate, pitting the old guard Bumpy against the new wave Frank of criminal activity. Mamie's cultural ambitions. Mamie Johnson, Ilfanesh Hedera, Bumpy's wife, has a different perspective on Harlem's destiny. In this episode, she grows more concerned with the cultural and intellectual development of the community. Mamie contacts James Baldwin, a well-known African-American writer, for the Fine Arts Board, aiming to draw attention to Harlem's cultural achievements. This effort demonstrates Mamie's idea that Harlem's future is not only economic, but also culturally significant. Thank you for watching.